for another book review. Today we are talking about this one. So this is Tea Leaf Reading, Your Guide to More Than 500 Symbols by Jacqueline Towers. So this little book is exactly what the title would suggest. Talks a little bit about what is tea leaf reading, and then a lot of this has to do with just the symbols that you might see in your cup when you're doing such a reading. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. To be honest, if you wanted to have a symbol guide, this is a really good book. I feel like sometimes if your intuition isn't that great, if you're just starting out on that, this can give you some ideas. It's kind of generic things of you kind of have a vague idea of what, you see this thing, it's gonna mean this thing, especially as witches. It's kind of universal stuff. You're gonna find that just about everywhere, but if you're new to that, this might be helpful. It did include some really random stuff that I was like, why are we going down this side tangent? Okay, tea leaf reading, right? Yeah, sure. Why are we talking about just a few hand-picked cards from the tarot? Why? That was just a brief of and now we're gonna talk about the tarot cards, but just some of them, just because I feel like it. It was kind of weird, to be honest, but I think for the most part, this is really just this is the majority of the book, where it's iceberg, you're in danger of drifting without emotional direction. This could lead to a slowing down of projects or plans coming to a halt. And, it's just a little bit of that kind of stuff in here, ham it up with happy family social events. Some of these, they're pretty generic because your symbols are going to be unique to you. If I saw a ham, I don't think that's what that would mean to me, because I don't have a great relationship to ham. I'm vegetarian. So my meaning for that's going to be drastically different. So it's a little bit just to get you started, and if it doesn't really match, just go off your own intuition. But for just starting out, it's a pretty good resource, mostly for that. It didn't have a whole lot, I feel like some of the other tea books, again, have just been better. The one by Miss Wilde that I just talked about, I feel like has still been the reigning supreme on the topic. To be honest, anything tea related was better than this, but the two kind of go hand in hand. The other one's kind of your main book, and then this one is more of when you are looking at the reading to get a vague idea of what it might be. Again, if you're not so sure about your intuition, this is a good place to start. I would recommend this, as I've mentioned, to anyone who is just starting out on tea leaf readings, and if you're just kind of newer to using your intuition, this is a good resource to use to get some ideas before you start doing it just on your own. And I would definitely pair it with the one I just talked about last week, which was something like Herbal Tea Magic for the Modern Witch or something like that by Miss Wilde. I don't know how to say her first name. I look at it and I'm like, it's either Elsie or Elise, and I didn't. Miss Wilde's. So go check out her book. It is phenomenal. I think these two go really well together because, again, the one really goes through so much detail, and then this is really good for learning the symbols if you're not sure. So I would love to know your thoughts on this little book in the comments down below. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it's patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. I feel like I should start to mention this because it is coming up. I have decided to do a sort of giving back to my community, as I'm getting close to getting monetized here on YouTube, and I have had an influx and just more people on Patreon throughout this year, staying for a little bit, but it's still contributed somewhat. I might actually be able to file taxes this year. So my way of giving back to y'all is to have my audiobook, at least one of my audiobooks, available for free for the kind of the rest of the year, for the 13 days of Yule. So that will be starting on the 19th. I will talk about it, but yeah, just as an FYI, that is coming up in the future. It'll be available for those 13 days, and then it goes back behind the paywall. It's just a nice little, here you go, for the year. So anyways, just wanted to mention that. So I will talk with you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.